So welcome everyone to our session today on Microsoft Project and Planner 101. We're going to throw in a little bit on using Microsoft To Do as well. But today we are going to really focus on practical project and task management that we can be actually doing in some of the apps that we already have. And then, of course, a couple of things are going to be extra licenses we'll talk about. You don't need to know every feature to be successful at using these tools. The goal today really is to leave with a clear understanding of which tool to actually use, how to build a useful plan board, and how to organize the work and have it be connected to your other information. When it comes to a more formal project, Microsoft Project will probably be your tool of choice. But for today, we're going to focus on technically three apps. We're going to talk at the beginning here about Microsoft Planner. We'll talk about Planner's Premium as well. We're going to be touching a little bit on Microsoft To Do, but we're going to focus too today on Microsoft Project. Microsoft Project. So it kind of depends on what is it that you need to manage. If you want to have an easy to share tool to be able to assign tasks to people and have it flow throughout your Microsoft 365 account, you would probably want to use Microsoft Planner. It's not going to give you absolutely everything like good resource management, keeping track of costs right in the application. Microsoft Project is more of the app for that. That's a full, true project management application. But although Microsoft Planner does have a premium license that you can get, so depending on your licensing structure, Planner comes with your 365. Planner Premium or Plan I should say Microsoft Project Desktop are additional costs, just so you're aware of the licensing structure. And Microsoft To Do, when I mentioned that application, that of course is included with your 365 as well. So just to give you an idea of the different apps that we're going to be working with today. Now, To Do is more of your personal place to keep track of your tasks. It is fully connected with your Outlook, but it's also connected to Planner. And Planner is connected to Outlook, which also can be connected inside Teams. And Microsoft Project can be connected to Planner. I mean, it's crazy all these apps that they all go together, they all work together, which is great. That's why we use Microsoft 365. But I want to start with a plan in Microsoft Planner. Now, how exactly do you get to it? For me personally, I usually will just go to my Microsoft account. So you can see right now I'm logged in with my Microsoft account and I would open up my Planner app. So this is going to be one way. Is this the way I use it a lot? To be honest, no. I'll show you my alternative that I use on a more regular basis. But for this, I'm just going to go to my apps launcher at the top left. And from here, I can open up Planner. Now, of course, if I don't see the icon in this main window, I just click more apps like we always have done in the past, and we could just navigate to Planner itself. I'm going to click on the all apps again. So it's all apps, which is kind of crazy, but that's okay as long as we can get there. So the planner is just one of your apps that you have available through 365. When you open Planner, you're going to be at a main menu that's going to give you access to different plans. It's going to be giving you access to creating new plans, etc. So you have a navigation pane on the left-hand side. And what you're going to find from that navigation pane is you can access what is referred to as My Day. My Day is directly connected with Microsoft To Do. I'll explain that a little bit more here in a little bit. But also on the left-hand side, I have the capability of clicking My Plans. My Plans is going to give me a list of all the plans that I am a part of. Whether I created the plan or I'm just assigned to a task in a plan that somebody else created and manages, it will show up in my list. So you can see that it's based on time frame. So you could see it sorted right now based on date wise. But up at the top, I can see recent. And then I have other filter categories where if somebody shared a plan with me or I shared a plan with somebody else, we can access those through the shared. Now, anything that would be in Microsoft Teams or Microsoft SharePoint, they're going to already be shared with whoever is a part of the team or is a part of the SharePoint site. Now we'll talk about Teams and Planner here in just a moment. But also I can go into the personal category where these are my personal plans that I'm working on. I can go into pinned because we can pin plans to make it quicker and easier to get to them. It's like your favorites category. And then we can also have recommended category as well. I just usually am in recent because I'm going back into my recent plans that I've worked on. Even if a plan was created in Teams, it's going to show up here in Planner, just so you're aware. Now, also on the left-hand side, I can access other plans that are connected to either a team channel or to a SharePoint site. So I have pinned category, etc., down on the left-hand side. So I can always access things directly through there too. Kind of depends on where you want to go to get to it. But also on the left-hand side, I have a category called My Tasks. My Tasks is going to give you different views at the top. So you can see that I have grid view versus board view. And then it's going to give you different filter capabilities, private tasks versus assigned to me versus flagged emails or an all category. I'm on the all category right now, but just very briefly, private tasks are the tasks coming from To Do because they're just available to you. Nobody else is seeing them. So private tasks is the ones you put in To Do. The assigned to me are going to be the tasks coming from different plans that I'm connected to that I have been assigned to those tasks. And then the flagged emails is just what it says. It's the emails in Outlook that you have flagged. So when you flag something, you're marking it as something you need to do. So therefore, it's available directly through Planner or the To Do app. We have so many ways to get to things. We have no excuse to not know the tasks we should be working on because Microsoft provides us so many different options. It's really a matter of you choosing which tool you should actually use. So it's your personal choice. But somebody could choose it for you and assign a task to you from Planner or Microsoft Project. Now, of course, we'll get to Project here in a minute, but this is one way that you could be using Planner. Is this the way I use it? Well, sometimes I do. Kind of depends, but sometimes I do. But to be honest, I usually go through Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Teams. And so on the left-hand side, I have pinned the app Microsoft Planner because I don't want to always have to go to my internet browser to get to Planner. I use it regularly directly from Teams. So on the left-hand side, I can click Planner because I have it pinned and it will automatically open the same exact thing that you were seeing when I went online. Now, so this is where I truly use it the most. But a lot of the plans that I create are going to be connected or dedicated to a channel inside a team. So on the left-hand side, if we go to Teams, you have the ability, of course, to go to a channel within a team. So like as an example, if I have this plan that we're working on for the 2027 Leadership Conference, we wanted to have a shared location to collaborate, share files, have a shared task list. I could go to, let's say I have this venue and logistics channel that we're storing everything related to that. You can see that when I click on that channel, at the top right, I have a tab that is created already for conference tasks. If I click on that, what it's going to show, and by the way, there's been a few updates to this application over the past few months. So if things don't look the same as my screen on your screen, you just may not have gotten that update just yet, but it will be coming eventually. But just so you could see, the way that this can be organized is you have different views going across the top. You right now I'm on board view. Board view to view is going to give you the cards. So you can see individual cards of the tasks. If I go to grid view, it's going to be columns and rows of information. There's also a calendar view so that once you add tasks in, you can view them by calendar based on when they should be worked on. So if we have a task that is going to take 3 days, it would show up on the calendar during those days. You would see the name of the task going across. We also have reports. If you have certain add-ins, you could get different types of reports like premium plans. We also have charts. Charts are going to give you a dashboard look automatically. This is included in Planner. I mean, it's crazy that we get this for free with our account, but it automatically will give you dashboard look with these different charts representing what is going on with all the tasks. But I'm going to jump back to the board view again, because the way that these planners are going to be set up for you is, well, depending on if you start with a template or you start with a blank one. If it's blank, you're only going to have a column called to do. It will give you the ability to add in what is called a bucket. Buckets are a way that we can organize our tasks into categories. So this particular plan has a bucket called planning, in progress, waiting for approval, and complete. That's already been set up, but I could change it. I could rename a bucket. But what happens is the tasks that are related to the name of the bucket are going to go in those buckets. Then we can change our view to filter by bucket and other criteria within the task. But how do we add a task? I'm just going to go to the button underneath the to do category, which is a general bucket. I'm going to click add task. You can, on this little window you get at the beginning, you're going to be able to type in what exactly is the task. So let's say that I need to add in a task that is contact vendors. And I want to set a due date for that. I'm going to say it's due by the 1st of September, which is right around the corner, kind of crazy. Then I can click assign, but you can only assign a task to someone that is a part of the plan. So if I have a plan that is created right in Teams, I can assign anybody that is a part of the team and or that channel. Otherwise, they would have to be added before we could actually assign a task to them. Now, how is that different if I'm in a regular plan, not connected to a team? Well, let me take you back to one of those instead, just to kind of show you how that part would work. If I go to a plan directly here in Planner, the actual app itself, let's say that I go to this one called BE Tasks. If I open this up, I can share this with other people. So if I create a plan just directly here in Planner, I'm the only one that has access to it by default, but we can share it with other people so that you can then assign people to become part of the project or to become part of the plan. So how you do that is at the top right of the screen. You would click on the share just like you normally share other things in 365. You could do a link, copy a link to the plan, or go into the share window. And from the share window, you could see that this one happens to be connected to a team also, but I could choose who I want to share this with. So I would just enter in the email address of everybody that I want to share this with. So if I wanted to share this with Taylor, I could put in Taylor's email address and I could automatically add her to this plan. So just so you know, that can be done at any time. Now, just to kind of take you back to Teams for a second, I'm going to finish walking you through how we then assign a person to a task. Whether you're in regular planner or you're in a plan through Teams, it works the same. It's all working exactly the same. It's just where is it stored? So, or what is it a part of? So if I choose who I want to assign this to, like I choose Britt Wise, it automatically has notified that person that they've been assigned to that task. It also gives you other notifications, like when a task is coming up being due, you'll get an email notification in Outlook. You'll also get an email notification when you have past due tasks. So I'm just going to have this task be added now. So I went off that menu where I was assigning this, and I'm going to click add task. So now that task is added right here. It says contact vendors. I didn't put in much detail to it. I'm going to click contact vendors to open up a full window to give me more details on tracking what I need to do with this task, or what she needs to do with this task. Up at the top, you can see I could change the name, contact vendors. I could connect it to a goal. So if we have the objective of the project and things entered, we could actually attach it to a goal. We won't worry about that's more of an advanced feature today, but we could also add a label to it. Similar to the categories we use in Outlook, we have labels we can assign to tasks here. So if I have specific tasks that maybe the accounting department is responsible for this task, I could edit a category, give it a name, and I'm going to call this one accounting, and then I could assign that label to this task so that it shows up with that pink label at the top. We can then filter or sort by the name of the label. So it's another way to organize your information. So anyway, just so you could see, I could go into the task details by clicking on task details. These are the details, or I have a tab for attachments. And this is kind of a newer feature in Planner. It just came out less than a month ago. But if I click attachments, you can choose multiple attachments to be attached to this task. But I'm going to stay on the task details for right now. We could choose a status. Is this in progress? Have we started working on it? That kind of a thing, which of course that can be part of the dashboard look, the charts that we have. Does it have a specific priority? Does it have a date we need to start this task? I'm going to say I started it yesterday. I can change the due date. I could put this in as a reoccurrence. I could choose a different bucket to have this task go to. So if I click on the drop down, I could choose that maybe this is actually part of the planning phase of this project. I could click planning, and then when I close this out, it will automatically be saved to that bucket. But we also have the capability of putting in a checklist. So if to contact vendors, there's multiple steps that I need to do to complete that task. Like I need to look over current list. I press enter and I can add in more steps that I need to do. I need to confirm with accounting, whatever things you need to do individually to complete this task, you could keep track of here. It's very different in project when we do that, but we'll get to that here in a second. You can add in any notes down at the bottom, and you could see on the right hand side, we could have a chat going. So other people could come in and chat on this task. You could be replying, whatever the case might be. It has a place for a conversation about this task. When you're done, all you do is close the window. It automatically saves any changes. And now when you're looking at this board view, you're seeing other details about the task. You're seeing that it has the label for accounting. It has the contact vendors, and it's also showing that it's a high priority. It's in progress. We've not completed the 2 steps to complete the whole thing. So it says 0 completed out of 2 steps. Just so you can see, it also has the due date and it has who this is assigned to. So we get a at a glance look at different details. But what happened back in Outlook is that person actually got notified. Just to quick show you this, that person got notified that they were actually assigned to that task. So you could see that Britt Wise got this email saying, oh, you've been assigned to this task. part of the contact vendors is the name of the task. They can open it in their browser, they can open it directly in Teams. So it gives them links to get to that task. But where else does it appear for them? Well, it's in the plan, but it also is in their to do in Outlook, or it's a to do app all by itself. So while I'm here in Outlook, I'm going to go to the left hand side and I'm actually going to open up the to do, which is the blue check mark icon. So if we click on to do, this is where you can be entering in your personal tasks, but this is also where you can access anything that you're assigned to. It's not going to show you all of the tasks in a plan, only the ones that you are responsible for. So this is a great way to filter out everybody else's stuff and just see yours so that you can focus on exactly what do you need to be working on. So just so you could see on the left hand side, if I just want to see the task that I'm assigned to, I click assign to me. Then you can see that I have this grid view, columns and rows of information where I can see the name of the task, the due date, if it was marked as important, because there is a filter category on the left for important, but I could click list view and see a different view of that information. So we have different views in each of the applications. Whether you're in project, you're in planner, or you're in to do, at the top of whatever category you're on, you'll always see your different view options. Highly recommend you click on each of those to know what it is that you get for options. But here in to do, just so you're aware, if I go to the left hand side and I click tasks, this is just my personal task list. It has nothing to do with a planner, Microsoft project. These are just things that I personally need to work on. I have, of course, the views at the top, but if I want to go into any of these or if I want to add a new task, right now my cursor is actually blinking in add a task. So if somebody said, "Hey, Jolene, can you create a new access report?" I can put in the name of that new access report and I just press enter and it automatically adds that to my task list. If I want to add more details to it, I can click on the name of the task. It opens up a pane on the right hand side, giving me similar features like Planner does. Now, keep in mind, this is just for myself, nobody else. But up at the top, if there's different steps that I need to take, I need to find out which table or query to use. I could press enter. I could say, what formatting do they need? That kind of thing. I could make my list of what it is that I need to do to complete this task. I also could click add to my day. So if I know that this is a task that I want to work on today, not tomorrow, not the 2 weeks from now, today, I can click add to my day. Then I can put in a reminder, which I usually do. I can put in files. I can type in notes. We can make it reoccurring. I could put a label to it. Whatever it is that you need for details, add those in. Now, I added this to my day, but let me go back to one of my assigned tasks. So if I have a planner out there and I have a task that was assigned to me, can I say that I'm going to work on that task today too? Yes, you can. So at the beginning of your day, you should be determining, okay, how much time do I have today to work on my tasks? Then you can come to your task list here in to do and say, okay, here's all my tasks. Which ones should I be working on? So let's say that I want to work on this leading through channels task. I could click on it, go to the right hand side, click add to my day, and I'm basically telling the system that those are the two tasks now that I'm going to focus on for today. So I can go from planner or here in to do to the category called my day. From that my day, I will see any task that I tagged for my day or that I'm going to work on today, and I have access to all their details. Whether it's coming from a plan or it's coming from my to do, it doesn't matter. It filters just my tasks. So you can very quickly and easily focus on what's most important, and that's what you need to do, not all the details of all the other plans that you're a part of. So I just click on any of these and I have my tools on the right hand side. So, of course, if I have one that is connected to a plan, when I click on it on the right hand side, it will give me access to that plan. Or, of course, I could go back to Planner and get access to it. However, it is you want to get to the details of that plan. But just so you could see, we have to do and we have Planner that are fully connected. Now, just one other thing to kind of let you know this, because I do this regularly. What if you got an email in Outlook that is related to you needing to do something? You could actually add it as a task. So if I go to an email and I want that to become a task, so I keep track of it, I need a due date and all of that other thing, I can right click on the email and from there at the bottom, go to advanced actions. Then click create task. It's going to open up a new pane on the right hand side of your screen. If you have the new Outlook, it automatically takes you to the to do category, but it's added that task. So now that email is the task itself. You can then go into that email or into that task, I should say. And I'm just going to jump back to do to show you. Back here in to do, it's under my task list. I can go to any task, even the one that was just added. All I have to do is click on it and it will automatically open up I'm going to close this pane on the right here, but it will open up the details. So this is that one that I just turned into a task from an email. On the right hand side, I could add in my details, set a reminder, my due date, all of that, but I see my actual body of the email down at the bottom and I can click open to open the email that is related to it. So you have a great way to get organized and stay organized with your tasks through To Do. But let's go back to Microsoft Teams. Okay. So back here in Microsoft Teams, if I go to the left-hand side and click Planner, those tasks that I added to my day are also available here. If I click my day, it automatically mine didn't sync yet. Um, I have a weird account. I don't have account connection with what you're seeing because you're not seeing all my personal stuff. So anyway, just so you know, it normally would show you everything that was added. So we have access to my tasks. So if I want to just see my to-do tasks, up at the top, I would click private tasks so that I would be seeing just the tasks that are part of to-do. They're not part of a plan. So I use Planner for almost everything related to what it is I need to do because it's connected to do, but it's also connected to all of my plans that I'm a part of. So absolutely wonderful feature. But how do you create a new plan? Well, if I'm in Planner, I can just go up to the top of the app and click create a plan. Now, of course, it's my screen might look very different than yours because I do have the premium license for Planner. I also have a desktop Microsoft project. So mine might look different than yours, but what's going to be the difference for you? I want to show you. So I showed you what a regular plan looks like. I now want to show you what a premium plan would look like. So if you go to create a plan, you're going to see on the left-hand side, I can start with a blank basic plan, or I can start with a blank premium plan. But there are templates down below. So you could see that there's categories for choosing a template. There's templates from Microsoft shared or created by me because I can actually create templates. But just so you could see, I could do the ones from Microsoft. Here's project management one. So if I'm doing commercial construction or I'm going to manage a project, I could start with those, or I'm going to do software development and then even have sprint capabilities. If I'm going to do a business plan and I want to set goals and objectives, or what if I'm in HR and I want to have an employee onboarding plan, because we're going to be making some changes to that. There's a marketing category with marketing campaigns or event planning. There's sales related where we have a CRM pipeline, those kind of things. There's planner agents we can use. I'm going to use the CRM, the customer relationship management pipeline, to show you how that template could work. Now, you could see at the top right the name of it in a description, and it's telling me that this is a premium plan. And then it's showing you what you're going to get by default. Just give you a brief overview. I'm going to click Use Plan. So I can then give this a name, and I'm just going to keep the default of CRM pipeline, but I would give it a different name if I needed to. If I had a Microsoft group already created, I could choose the group or just add people after the fact. I'm going to add people after. I'm going to click Use Template. So I can have this template have different buckets and everything created and ready for me to use. But this is a premium plan, so it's going to give you extra features that we don't get with a regular planner. If you look at the top of the window, we have different views. Right now I'm on grid view. So I'm seeing the columns and rows like we have with regular planner. But we also have board view where we could see the card look. And you can see that I already have buckets created where I have leads, I have meetings, follow-ups, negotiation, won, loss. So kind of that typical CRM information that you would need. But what's going to be different is you will have access to what is called a timeline. If you're familiar with project management at all, a timeline can be your Gantt chart that we use in programs like Microsoft Project, where it will show you the bars based on the duration of a task, how long it's going to take, and give you the timeline of where it fits within your calendar. So as we add different details to a task, it's going to automatically create this Gantt chart, which is also known as a timeline here in Premium Edition. But we also have reports at the top, so I could add in a group and I could create reports. I have charts, which are your dashboard look. I can also group by people. So who's assigned to the tasks? I can do that as well. I can go in and add in goals and I can look at assignments. So once we're assigning people to the plan, we have different views that are related to working with resources. But I'm going to go back to grid view for right now. And I'm going to go into some details for these people. Now, right now it has different contacts, but they're not my contacts. So I'm going to add people to this plan by sharing it. I'm going to go to the top right and click share. And I'm going to say that I want to share this with my coworker, Britt Wise. And I'm going to click create group. And it automatically now has this group of people and I can invite more as needed. But anyway, I could now go to these tasks and make changes to them. Now, if I go to this task where it says read me, I have this little menu I can go to for more options. So you can see that I have the capability of opening up the details. I can cut, copy, I can insert a new task to go above it. We don't get a lot of these capabilities in a regular planner. Also, we can add dependencies to tasks as well, which is part of Microsoft Project that we use. So just so you could see, we've got a menu of options that we can use. I'm going to say that I want to open up the details. This gives me a full window of the details, different than what you saw in Planner. But what you can see is I can put in what the start date is for this task. I can put in a duration based on days, hours, minutes, those kind of things, like a normal project might be tracked. And I'm just going to say that this is going to be a 5-day task. I'm going to say that it is not any percent complete yet, but that's something I can be tracking. I can choose which bucket I want it to go in. I can do priorities. I can have a sprint as well. I can have a checklist with different, these are the individual things I need to do to complete this task. But you can also be keeping track of effort. So how much time is somebody dedicated to a task? And then this is how much time is still remaining. So if this person has already put in 2 hours, I can have it automatically calculate. I still have 38 hours of work to do because I said it was going to take 5 days to complete. And it assumes that each day is 8 hours. So it does the calculation for us, which is an advanced feature we do not get in regular Planner. We can also create custom fields. We can have a website link. We can have phone contact information, attachments. We can even add a dependency, but I'll do that with this next task and show you how this all works. If I come to this best for your organic company task, I won't change the names of the tasks. I'll just keep them, but I'm going to actually add this as a dependency because this is a huge part of using Premium or Microsoft Project. I can say that I can't start this task until the previous task README has been completed. I'm going to click add dependency, and then the only dependency that I can add is the task above me. I'm going to choose README because it's based on the order the tasks are listed. Then it can be sorted by date if need be, those kind of things. But I could choose the dependency type, which we could do a whole project management class on all of this, what this all means. But I could say that this is actually a start to start where they could both start at the same time. I could say it's finished to start where the first task has to completely finish before I work on this next task. I could have a delay to it where I could say, don't start this task until 2 days after the other task is completed. These are true scheduling capabilities that I live and breathe with. I just love these features. But I'm going to keep it on the default of start to finish. I'm not going to add any more dependencies. But how does this change the details of this specific task? Well, first, let me assign this. I'm going to assign this to Britt, and then I'm going to close this task. Now, how does this look when I go to the timeline? The timeline view is now showing this task is taking 5 days. This task is only 1 day. Now, if I wanted to expand it to take more days, I can click and drag the bar. Now I'm saying it's going to take 10 days to complete it, but I can't start this until this task finishes. That's a dependency. And that's how we get a true schedule when we're managing a project. But it's skipping weekends by default. So those 5 days, if this gets delayed, if we don't start it until Wednesday, I'm not going to finish it until next Tuesday because it's 5 days. I'm going to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, skip Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to work Monday and Tuesday on it. So it automatically adjusts things. Now, of course, if I have this task, I could still see that it's dependent upon this one and it's going to start the following day. So we have stronger capabilities in a premium plan that we do not get in regular Planner. Okay. Love this. So you could start with a template or you can start with a blank, and you could even import an Excel spreadsheet that you maybe already started with this detail could be imported. But for the last part of our class, I actually want to talk to you about Microsoft Project. Project is a totally separate license. This is a desktop application that is not physically, technically connected to your 365 account. It's more of a standalone application. Okay. But it is the most powerful of all of the apps we've talked about because it gives us everything that was related to that premium plan, but a lot more. This is the full project management application. We can track our tasks. We can track costs related to the tasks. We can be tracking and managing our resources, true built-in project management resource capability. So what you're seeing right now is an existing plan. This happens to be called product launch. So you can see that I've got a timeline view at the top, but then I'm in what is called a Gantt chart view. The Gantt chart view is showing bars similar to the premium plan you saw just a moment ago, basically showing how long a task duration is. So you can see under this column, so it's got this table view on the left-hand side showing us an indicator column. It's got a task mode column, the task name, how long is the task going to take, when is it going to start, when is it going to finish, etc. If I go to this task called determine sales objective, and I say this is going to take 7 days to complete, it automatically updates everything that is related to it. That's the power that we get with an actual Microsoft project. So what it just did was over on the Gantt chart side of the window, you can see that that is 7 days going across. And I can see on the right-hand side that it's actually assigned to a resource called the product manager. Now, of course, resources can be people's names, that kind of a thing, but they're actually managed in a different view. Very different from what we do in Planner. But let me show you a little bit more on what I mean by all this. So in this table on the left-hand side, we can be tracking milestones. So if you have milestones that dictate that when I finish phase one, I'm going to reach a milestone, I can actually insert a new task. So I'm going to say insert a new task, and I'm going to say after I complete this project phase one, and I'm going to move this down one. There we go. I have this new task, and I'm going to actually type in and say phase one complete. One complete. And in the duration, I'm going to put in a 0. 0 tells the system, which is it's a SQL database in the background. It's very smart. It tells the system to mark that as a milestone. Then I would have the dates related to when is this. So I want that milestone to be linked directly to the task that takes the longest to complete out of that group of tasks, which is actually known as a summary. But I'm going to say that for the predecessor, which is what I want to relate it to, it's the task ID for which task. I'm going to say task 5 has to finish before we can say this phase 1 is complete. So I'm going to put in change this to a 5, and oops, they're already linked together. Oops, sorry. Let me bring that back here. It's actually going to be, oops, sorry. I got to escape out of there because this task is linked to task 6 and I don't want it to be. Sorry, I've got to change my connection here. Come on. Why are you not letting me change this? There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to say that this is connected to task 5. So what that did over here in the Gantt chart and to the schedule itself is it's saying I can't start working on task 4 until task 3 is finished. And this whole phase is not going to be done until task 5 is finished. So once we go in and mark these tasks as being completed, which it's like magic. It knows which tasks are done, and we have all these great views that we can use. It's unbelievable the things you can do in Microsoft Project that we cannot do in Planner or even Premium Planner. And just to take you a little bit further on this, I'm going to go to the View tab of the ribbon. And from the View tab, we have task-related views and resource-related views because they're stored in different tables, database features. But just to give you an idea, if I click network diagram in the task views, you can actually have it give you a real network diagram. Now I'm just going to zoom that here just so you could see this a little bit better, but it's giving you an actual network diagram. So if you're into project management, we used to use network diagrams a lot to see how our tasks are related and be able to figure out our critical path, where if any of the tasks on the critical path get delayed, it's going to delay our finish date of our project. So that's when I talk about it's a full project management application. But also in these views, I'm going to go to the resource views and click resource sheet. This is where we can be entering and managing resource information. So I have this resource called sales. Well, that's really supposed to be Toby Smith. And Toby Smith actually makes $30 an hour. I can put that in as Toby's standard rate. What that does to the system is we can manage all these different costs. So back in the actual Gantt chart view, if I assign that resource to a task, so let me go to that task 5, the product manager, and I'm going to say it's not the product manager, it's actually Toby Smith. Now I have costs associated to that task. So we can keep track of just material costs, or we can be keeping track of resource costs. And of course, we have different reports and views available as well here in Microsoft Project. So just to give you a brief overview of something here that's wonderful in Project is I'm actually going on the View tab again, and I'm going to go to Tables, and I'm actually going to choose Cost. It changes the table on the left-hand side to give me cost-related fields, where I can see that at the very top, the name of the project is Product Launch. The overall cost for the project right now is only $16,045. Part of that cost is coming from this task where it has a cost of 205.50. This task has 240 because that's related to the time that Toby Smith is doing on that specific task. So we have different ways to track and use reports and views with our costs and or resources. Just to show you at the top, if I go back to the View tab, I'm going to actually go to the Report tab. And on the report tab, we have these built-in reports where if I want to go into just an overview of the project, I go to dashboards and I click project overview, and it's going to give me pivot tables and pivot charts related to our tables of data. So it's automatically showing me milestones that are due. Here's my list of my table of late tasks. It's got this chart of completed tasks. So once tasks are marked as completed, based on each of the phases of the project, the summaries, it will automatically update. Or if I go back to the report tab and I want to see cost related reports, I can do it based on earned value. So we have resource costs, we have task related costs. If I go into resource costs, I can see Toby Smith has his cost added in, but I didn't really put in a bunch of costs for other people and assign them. But you can see what you're getting by default on these different views that are reports that are built into the system. We don't have to jump through hoops to have ways to organize our information. But I'm going to go back to the Gantt chart view because I want to go back to the original table. So this table was the cost table. So I'm going to go back to the View tab to my tables, and I'm going to put it back to the entry table, which is the default view for the Gantt chart view. It's a default table, I should say, for the Gantt chart view. But how does this view compare back to Planner? Well, if I go back into Microsoft Planner, I had that premium plan open. This is as close as you can get, which is called Timeline, but it's really showing you Gantt chart related as well. So if you don't need all the resource management, the cost management, there's more to Microsoft Project that I haven't even mentioned. You don't need all those built-in reports, and it's amazing the other capabilities we have that I could spend multiple days with you teaching you. Um, this is fine. If you want to have dependencies on your tasks to have a true schedule as to how long is it really going to take to complete this project, Premium is your answer. We do not get these capabilities in regular Planner. We only get them in either Premium or Project itself. So here, I don't really have as many capabilities as the full-blown desktop app, but here you're getting the better connectivity to your other 365. So this is going to be connected to To-Do. This is connected with Planner. So it can be in Teams. It can be in SharePoint. Microsoft Project can be a file saved in a team in a SharePoint site, but each person that wants to go in has to have a license. They have to have a license to use it. Also, if you have a premium, they have to have a license for that. Everybody can access regular Planner, but there's a couple of steps to additional licensing for premium or the desktop project application. So it really comes down to which tool do you need for the project at hand? I use all four of them that we've talked about. I use To Do every day, but I use it through Planner here in Microsoft Teams, like I'm showing you right now, because I want to be able to see every task that I'm responsible for, whether it's a personal task or it's something that's coming from a shared planner, which, by the way, the premium, they show up here. Project does not. Project does not show up here. Okay, unfortunately. But there's different ways that we can connect things these days. But anyway, just so you know, this to me is what I live and breathe in. So I'm always in Planner because a lot of the things that I do are Planner related. Could I have a shortcut through a team to get to that planner? Yes, through the shared tab or as a tab across the top, I could have it be a file. So we do have easy ways to get to it, but here through Planner, you can get to anything that's part of a plan. So when it comes to you personally making that decision, are you going to need to work with a group of people? And do you have a team that has already been created that you're using that plan needs to be connected to? If that's the case, you want to go to that team or get a new team created, get a new channel created, go to the channel it's going to be related to, and you're going to want to create the plan directly here. So if I'm in a channel, so right now I'm in this marketing and communications channel of a team, I could go to the tabs at the top, click on the plus sign, and I'm going to say apps, and I'm going to choose that I want to create a new planner. I'm going to click save. It automatically is going to take me into creating a new plan or connecting an existing. To show you if you're starting with a new plan, will you have access to that premium? Yes, you will. If you have a license for premium, you'll be able to use the premium, whether you want to start from scratch or you want to start from a built-in template. I'm going to show you one more template just so you could see. If you want to use the project management template, this can be premium or it can be basic. So even if you just have basic, you can have a project management template used. I'm just going to keep it on basic and I'm going to click use template. I would give it a name and I'm going to actually name it, since this is related to marketing and communication, I'm going to call it marketing PM for project management. And that's what the name of the tab will end up being at the top. And this is now a plan that we can be creating whatever buckets we want. We don't have to use the defaults that it comes with. We can create our own or use these, and we'll have a few tasks that are added in, but we can change them. We can assign people that are a part of this team to those tasks. And we have that workflow of them being notified. We don't get that in Microsoft Project. So, something to think about. Project is more of a desktop. It's a full-blown application with lots of capabilities, but it doesn't have this full connectivity back to 365 as of today. In the future, it will probably change, but just so you know. But you will have access to everything that we talked about before with a basic plan. And to me, sometimes that's all I need. I don't need all the bells and whistles. But if I know that I'm going to be having tasks that have dependencies, we have to finish this task before this one can start, or I can't start this task until this one I can't finish this task until this one has finished. We have different dependency types that we can be using. So you got to kind of just think about what will work best for you as a user or for your team based on whatever it is you need to track for your tasks. Okay. So my recommendation is take a look at what it is that needs to happen. Are there going to be other people involved? Well, that shoots you right up to either planner, premium, or project. Then you can narrow it down to say, well, what license do I have? If you have premium, you could start with premium if you need those dependencies. If you need the full blown, I need to keep track of costs of this project, resource management, task management, all of that, you might want to go with the desktop version of Microsoft Project. Make sure, of course, that you have the appropriate license for that. So that was a lot of information, but I got to tell you, these are things that we have no excuse now to stay organized and know exactly what it is that we need to work on. If you haven't been using To Do and Planner, start today. Start with your own personal tasks. Take the sticky notes, the scratch pieces of paper of things that you know you need to do, the emails, etc. Get them added into To Do. You could do that through Planner or directly in the To Do app, whichever one works best for you.